All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I have the pleasure of being joined by my normal friend, Luke here, Luke Gali-Ardo, joining us today.
Hey,
By normal, I mean a normal guest on
wow,
the channel. A normal guest on the channel.
that was a start.
Always a pleasure to have you on here, Luke. And then I'm also joined by my friend Cammy down there at Let's Tune In. It's sad. This is the first time that we've had 3 guests or 3 members on the stream. So definitely a pleasure. Thanks for being the third today, Cammy. She had the pleasure of watching this movie yesterday. And then Luke and I, we just saw Thunderbolts just about, I don't know, just a few, like maybe an hour ago. So it's pretty fresh in our heads. We let the thoughts stew in our minds, and you know what? There is so much to say about this. So we are, despite the fact that some of us liked it, some of us don't, we're all excited to talk about it. That's for sure. So thank you all for joining us very much. To sum up the story just briefly, it's a strange story. This is a very strange story that you get thrown into. A lot of it highlights this one character, Elaine from Seinfeld. I always just think of her that way. Her real name is, what is it? Is it Valentina De Fontaine? Yes. She's sort of like, she's like this strange little puppet master working in the background. And she is developing so many conflicts in this world. We barely know her. If you haven't seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you definitely have no clue who she is. And throughout the film, you're kind of wondering what her influence is as well, because she is like this inexplicably powerful woman in the government that seems to have a lot of power and influence to really big degrees. Yet it's still unclear as to how she got to the place she was, what her title is, or how she's able to do everything she does in here, because she is almost like a Nick Fury-esque character here, kind of almost like a leader of a bunch of loose ends. And she has incredible influence. She has many resources at her disposal, and pretty much the central issue of the story is that she led this weird scientific development, this experimental superhero system, and it kind of went out of hand, and she's trying to bury it. And there's a couple loose ends that are still involved, and that is what becomes the Thunderbolts. So, except Red Guardian, you have Yelena, what's her name? Florence Pugh. You have, what's his name?
Hopper.
Wait, what'd you say?
I was just saying it's strange.
What's the guy? No, because Red Guardian isn't actually a part of it. He doesn't come in until later. What's his name? Wyatt Russell. U.S. agent. Yeah, you have him. Then you have Ghost, who was super lame in this. My gosh, that was the worst character in this story for me. Yeah, you have Ghost, and then you have Bucky. He's also an addition, which is like, ugh. But all these guys that get mixed together, and she's really trying to like cut off all the loose ends in this problem, because she doesn't want anybody finding out about this. She later figures out that the subject who is involved with this experiment is actually alive, and that the experiment actually worked, which this character is Bob, as you see in the trailer. Bob. And he's kind of this clumsy, ultra depressed and confused anti-hero, and you're not exactly sure what his deal is. So we're sent on a crazy trip of these, led by Yelena, Black Widow's sister. She's sort of the leader of this ragtag group that were initially kind of meant to try to kill each other, but now they team up and they're trying to work against Valentina and trying to take her down, because she's interested in taking all them down. So she's the system that hates them. She's trying to kill all of them. She's sending tons of troops after them. And it's not, I got a little passionate.
Yeah.
I know, right? Sending lots of troops down to get them. And they're just battling that back and forth. And then they're also, Bob is sort of his own unit that works in the background. You see him developing, starting to grow in his skills. And that's an interesting part of the film. But let's just talk strictly reactionary emotions. How do you guys feel after watching Thunderbolts for the first time? Ooh.
Disappointed.
Luke, tell us.
I'm disappointed because it was all thrown at us. Everyone's roles and purposes were very rushed. I feel like I wanted to see so much more of John Walker's backstory from after he was demoted from being Captain America to U.S. agent. They showed probably 15 seconds of that clip we saw in the trailer that at least I was hoping for. Red Guardian, yeah, he gave you laughs. It was funny. He was so dumb, like his purpose.
He was so dumb.
As you expected, Ghost, like you said, did nothing except for like maybe throw a few punches. Wait, I'm trying to think of what I can get away with here without spoiling. I realize spoil.
You can spoil it. Okay, guys. So yeah, if you really care about this movie, then we're going to be spoiling. This is. There's really nothing to spoil here either.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing really that interesting to spoil. Everything is you kind of see everything coming here. You sort of are fed the main topics in the trailer. So if you see the trailers, we're gonna spoil some things, but it's really, don't worry about it. You're really not gonna care. It's not even gonna ruin your enjoyment of the movie.
It's
even
not.
if you see it.
One more thing. What's his the villain's name? Shadow or
Shadow Sentry.
Sentry. Oh yeah, Sentry. It's so dumb. Like it was so quick. Like a blink of an eye, it feels like he was like Superman at one point. I was very excited to see what he could have been, but then all of a sudden he turns turns into what's his name from the animated Spider-Man, like Spot or whatever. Like,
oh yeah, that's a good point.
Reminded me of him big time. Like he turned exactly like him. And then have you seen The Incredibles 2 when that lady? I feel like that lady and
Valentina
were like the same person. They were trying to glorify the villain.
Yeah, you're right. What's the little short lady?
Yeah, they were trying to
black hair
to make herself look good. I was like exactly like that. That's what I kind of got from that. So that's me. I mean, that was.
Let's give the audience some context because this is big coming from you. This guy loves Phase 5. He loved Phase 5. There's a lot of crap he didn't like in Phase 5, but this guy, I've been dogging on Marvel forever, and he doesn't like how much I dog on it. And I think it's completely justified, and I think you think it's justified as well, but you enjoy a lot of it. I can't stand most of the new stuff, post Endgame. But hearing you say that is particularly shocking. I'm really surprised to hear that because going in, he was excited and he was trying to hype me up. Even today, we ate at B-Dubs and he was telling me that I should just, go in with a happy face, be optimistic, Jackson, think outside the box. And I've told him this before. He tried to get me excited. And I said, Marvel has not, they don't have that respect. They haven't, I can't. As an audience member, I've been let down so many times. I've been disappointed time and time again. They do not deserve a casual viewer and a veteran viewer of Marvel, comic reader, whatever else. They don't deserve our trust to just go in blindly thinking we're going to have an enjoyable show because it just doesn't work that way. We're not dull sheep or pigs that are eating from the slop. And I hate to say it, but the people in our audience, there were some pigs eating from the slop. And just, you know what? When something's written as a funny line, it's hilarious. I think there was people behind us and they laughed at every single thing. Anything that was funny, written as funny, they were dying. And I'm like, gosh, were you paid to be here?
I heard her laugh. That was probably the worst part of the movie experience. Like, what was her laugh? It was horrible.
It was nonstop. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, there was like nothing going on, and she was laughing. But anyway,
they must have been on drugs or something.
She definitely had a few.
Maybe 5 drinks in. That could do it.
But also one more thing before Kemi, you go. It was one fight to the next. It was like there was a big fight, meaningless fight really, and then they went to another one. Nothing really. They never really benefited from any of these fights. The whole Shadow thing was like at first it was intimidating. He was like, "Oh, it's like the blip," and then it was just they all. Like, what was Spider-Man doing? Did he disappear? I mean, he was in the city. That's what I was confused about. I was like, this doesn't,
Yeah, what Luke's referring to is there's you see it in the trailer when Sentry goes rogue and he's like, I don't know, turning people into like, let me see if I have a picture of him. Here you go. Here's Sentry. This is him and his comic, his comic garb, which he looked amazing in this. Well, you have to give the film credit for that. He looked awesome. He looked so good. Yeah. So you get to the part where you see his powers. My gosh, he is a spectacle. I definitely want to talk about him later. But he's making everybody turn into like shadows. And I just read something that said that his like that portrayal of like making like his power, he like turns people, they disappear and they look like a black stain on the ground. They're not actually dead. They just go into like a depressing world or something where they relive their trauma over and over again, which was interesting to a degree. But it was, I don't know. The worst part was they're not dead. They come back like it was nothing. And yeah, it's like, what are the stakes there? It's like, I'm sick of this. Like, he was bad. He was evil. What he did was evil. They don't come back. They should not be coming back. That was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So I feel you, Luke. Do you have anything else you want to say? Just strictly out of theater reaction before we go on to Cammy?
That was very exciting. His good side, I'd say, when he became Sentry before, he turned into a shadow. That was impressive. I mean, he was undefeatable. He was invincible. Mm-hmm. Like, even better than Superman. Yeah. Like, nothing. Like, he made it look like extremely powerful. Like, they landed a punch and it looked like they were just punching like nothing and shooting bullets at him. He just stopped them. He was tossing everyone around. That was he would have been the number one Avenger. He would.
Oh yeah.
You don't need another team. You don't need anyone else. I mean, he was the guy.
He was so cool.
And then he switched up like for no reason at all. He was all saying it's like he had two personalities. He was a two-face. He said, I don't want to kill them, and then out of nowhere he's just a shadow guy killing everyone. It was too quick. Sorry, it was too quick. That's just me.
You covered a lot of ground there, Luke. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
Save the suspense, buddy. Save for suspense. All right, Kara, what do you have to say? Just emotionally, then we'll get into the nitty-gritty a little more.
Okay, so I was really disappointed with this, to be honest. I didn't like it. I went in very optimistic. You know me, I do look at things with like positive outlook, and I was enjoying like the first half fairly well. It's just, it got very formulaic and predictable. I felt like towards the latter half. And like you said, no real stakes. I didn't like Sentry's turn either. His character arc was non-existent. He went from one way to another like that. And I was like, what? So I don't know. Just some of the characters too. I would have wished they would have focused more on Bucky and kind of like his backstory rather than it being all Yelena.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's like the most I think the most ridiculous element of the entire film is you have this ragtag group of losers, which they tout themselves as time and time again, and Bucky comes in the mix later on. He is not considered a loser by any means, and he shouldn't, clearly, and they don't consider him that either. He joins them, I don't know, just slightly after they were introduced to each other, and somehow he's not running the show. How on earth is he not running the show here? My gosh.
Yelena has what? 15 years worth of trauma. He has 90 years of trauma, and they show none of it.
Yeah, I mean, the trauma, too. It's like, I don't know. I think we've seen so much of his. I didn't feel like I needed that. But, I mean, he needed to lead this group. Absolutely. He's a leader. My gosh. Geez, he's been doing this since, the 40s? And he continued, too. I don't think he was ever put on ice. I mean, he's been working the whole time, right?
It just would have been a good flashback, to see old Marvel. That's what I was kind of hoping for.
Yeah.
But,
gosh. So, okay, I'd like to react, too, of course. So, for me, like, I'm hearing a lot of negative stuff from you guys, which is funny to me because I kind of liked it. I can't believe I'm saying it. You know what? Before the end credits scene, which we'll definitely get to later, I was like, I don't know. I didn't hate this. I kind of liked it, and I'm sort of split. I'm split on my feelings because there's some elements I really enjoyed, and that's what keeps coming to mind. I really enjoyed some elements. And then there were some elements that really grossed me out and like just turned me off. But it wasn't that bad. I think, I was really surprised by Yelena's character. I haven't cared about her a single second for as long as she's existed. I've never cared about her character. I don't like her. I don't like Florence Pugh very much. But this warmed me up to her, and I don't even know what it is. I think she was more humble in this. I liked seeing a more humble character. I feel like so many Marvel female characters nowadays are just so prideful, and it was nice to see a humble one. And that, that just makes us like those characters. I like humble guys. I like humble girls. It's a great trait to have. And I enjoyed seeing that. And I enjoyed seeing a more humbling group here. I mean, these guys, that's a weird story of just trauma dumping, that's what this is. It's trauma dumping. This is the first date, and your date is just telling you about all the worst experiences they've ever had. And, especially for a casual consumer who's never seen any of these characters, I can't imagine it's a very welcome idea. Because while I was waiting in line to get popcorn, I talked to these two nice people behind me, and they just started talking to me, and they were asking about Thunderbolts, and they didn't know a single one of these characters. And I pretty much summed it up by saying that there's two knockoff Captain Americas. I mean, look, they're both standing right here. I mean, they're both knockoff Captain Americas, and then you have your knockoff Black Widow. And I don't know. It's just it was so funny. They were completely clueless. Another friend of ours was watching the movie. He hasn't watched like any of the shows. He didn't like Black Widow, and he didn't know any of these people were. I mean, he didn't do nothing about Wyatt Russell's U.S. agent. He didn't know anything about Alexei or Yelena, because Yelena, she also shows up in Hawkeye, I guess. So I don't know. It's so weird that they would choose to make a movie, putting together all of these failed characters, because I mean, Black Widow, it was a failure in the box office. Then you had, and from that movie, you have Yelena, you have Red Guardian, and then you have Taskmaster, which had a very happy death for me. And then you have, failed Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's probably looked down among the least, the bottom of the pit of Marvel Disney Plus. I love him. I love his character, but I mean, casual consumers have no idea who this is. And I guess, then you have Ghost. Ghost is like nobody. I can't imagine anybody without, having some sort of recollection, looking back at older films, could remember who that is. She was like, how long ago was that? That might have been 2018. That was the last time we saw her character in Ant-Man and the Wasp. What the heck? Ant-Man and the Wasp? What is why is she here?
I forgot about her.
I know. Yeah. Right? Let's see. I have a picture of her somewhere? Yeah, in the top right here. I think, why don't we go before we get into more story, let's talk about maybe our the characters that we were most captivated by and most annoyed by, because this is a very interesting group. And they have an interesting, relationship with one another. They're all like strangers initially here. The only ones that aren't strangers really are, you got Yelena, Red Guardian, and then you have a Bucky and U.S. Agent. I think those are pretty much the only ones. I guess Yelena had a little bit with Taskmaster, but she doesn't last very long, so you don't have to worry about that. But why don't you guys tell us which characters you were most captivated by and which characters you were absolutely annoyed by and you just wish they weren't even part of this. Cami, why don't you start?
Well, for me, I was most captivated by Bob.
Oh, yeah.
He's Bob on the poster. I liked Bob. I thought he was a cool, I think Bill Pullman's son, Lewis Pullman, plays Bob, so I thought he did a really nice job.
Oh, Bill Pullman's son.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Good. Wow. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep.
I love Bill Pullman.
Right. Even though his character has that weird switch, I still liked the dynamic of him with the Thunderbolts when they first discovered him. I thought it was kind of funny and fun. And then annoying-wise, do I have to pick a Thunderbolt or?
Wow. Really? None of these annoyed you?
Well, honestly, Red Guardian sometimes annoys me when he gets so predictably over the top. I get it, he's excited and he hams it up, but they kind of ham it up to the next level. So that bothers me sometimes, but I do love the actor and the character's not that bad, So.
I don't know. Oh well, who else would you name? You're probably gonna say Elaine, right?
Oh no, I was gonna say Valentina.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, Elaine, yeah. Valentina for sure.
Why don't you like her?
I just was irritated by her, and there's a moment at the end that really irritates me. We can talk about that later. She's the character that you kind of really do hate, but she did a great job because you're supposed to hate her. But
Yeah.
I just couldn't wait for her to go.
Yeah, I know. She was a weird choice in this. I don't think I have a picture of her here. Pretty much, if you've seen, Seinfeld, she's Elaine from Seinfeld. I actually thought she looked pretty good in this, which is, she's pretty old. So that was kind of a nice surprise. But yeah, super, like her delivery was really dry. I mean, this was not a performance. This was just her being there and talking. There was no gravitas to her character whatsoever. And I did think that she offered an interesting conflict. And I liked how she sort of, I don't know, she made the conflict more interesting over time. She kind of bended things to her will, and she was a manipulator. I mean, a master manipulator here. But I don't know. As a performance, it was lackluster. It should have been somebody else, or she should have done a lot better. So that's what I had to say. Luke, why don't you give us your thoughts?
Okay, so I'm gonna divide the annoyed with the dislike.
Okay, yeah.
A little bit. So I agree with Juan. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. But John Walker definitely should have had a bigger role. Obviously, my favorite character. He was great. He had the best story, in my opinion. He was just, the most effective. Annoying character would definitely be Valentina. I really liked her in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. She had great potential she was so secretive, and like she was kind of like a ghost to the government and everything. She was like kind of going behind their backs to promote the bad people, the vigilantes. And I looked it up. She's a corrupt CIA director.
Okay.
But the one that I disliked, or the one that annoyed me / disliked also, was Ghost. Serve no purpose. Come on, get out of here. Let the big boys fight. I mean, she threw a few punches, yes, but she
was so lame.
She didn't do anything.
Oh,
I mean, nothing personal, I guess, but she didn't do anything, and she just everyone forgot about her, like you guys. She's from Ant-Man and the Wasp. She tried to ruin everything in that movie. No one liked her in that movie anyway. So Valentina did not like. Ghost did not like. I love John Walker and Bucky, but Bucky definitely should have had a more.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
This should have been Bucky's movie. This should have been his movie.
Why
not?
They owe it to him. And yes, also Projectile, this Photoshop is awful. It portrays that one 3-minute fight, and that's it. It doesn't. It's pointless to the rest of the movie. So.
I did think the action was great in this. I really enjoyed the action. And you know what? I thought I liked seeing the female action. I thought it was great. I think Florence Pugh looked great in her fight scenes. It didn't strike me as girl boss. I mean, she was just like Black Widow, which, is also kind of lame because it's like, oh, great, just a copy of Black Widow. But I don't know. I was interested in her activity. She was quite exciting to watch. And but it looked like, Bucky, I don't know if I told you this, Luke, but I told Ty, he's tiny in this. The actor needs to beef up. My gosh, this is a tiny Bucky. And you know what? Like I said, they introduced so many elements that it's like, if you didn't watch the terrible Captain America movie, and if you didn't watch those stupid Disney Plus shows, you miss a lot here. Like, a small little hint that they just drop is that he's a congressman. Yeah. It's like, oh gosh.
And they made him look kind of dumb.
Stupid. They made him look like an idiot.
He was like, he didn't look, he didn't know what he's talking about. Like that interview.
Watching a boxer talk that has been, beaten up in the head, smashing the head a million times.
He was like, the annoyances, and the annoyances. Like, he kept on saying that over and over. It's like, dude,
that was weird.
That was weird. That was strange. I did not like that.
Yeah, they really hammed up that plot line too, and the recent Captain America thing. I thought, oh, this is going to be really meaty, and then we get like one little scene, and then we don't talk about it again. Yeah. It's like, what? There's nothing there.
Gosh, yeah, Bucky was really. He might have been the biggest letdown of the whole movie. Was just how they completely pushed him under the curve, and They did not give him. They didn't really give him much respect in this. This scene was really cool when it happened. I can't even believe there were parts of me that geeked out a little bit. I can't even believe I'm saying it. I just tried to enjoy. I didn't try to enjoy it. I was pretty straight faced the whole time, but there were some scenes that made me smile, and this was definitely one of them. And I don't know. I think for me, I want to label mine as well. So like characters I really enjoyed, of course, Walker. I thought he was really cool in this. I didn't like how they made him a big dick in this. I mean, way more than what we even saw in Falcon the Winter Soldier.
Or just know what happened to him.
And you know what's funny though? Something I liked about that. So they were like, Yelena, one of my least favorite parts of her character in this, especially, was she just dogged on him nonstop, like little dick, blah blah blah. That's one of my least favorite things I ever hear from a woman character. It's like it's just such a horrible thing to say. And I mean, he's a douche in this, and I get it, but it's just never works. But he what's funny is, so he gets dogged on a lot, and he makes he's like loud and obnoxious. He's like a classic, jock, like the jock varsity football guy that thinks he's better than other people. But what's funny is the choices he makes are good choices. And there's like a scene in the movie where actually there's technically two scenes in the movie where he makes a choice that nobody likes, but it turns out to be the best choice to make. And he's right at the end of it. So I don't know if they wanted us to realize that or not, but he made some weird choices and it was the right choice to make. It was so funny. And he showed them who was boss. So I loved him. And you know what? He's imperfect and he's I don't know. He's outrageous and obnoxious, but you know what? It's charisma, right? It's charisma to some resort. So it's something you got to enjoy. Let's see. Who was I annoyed by? I've never really liked Red Guardian. I don't like him very much at all. I really didn't like him in Black Widow. I thought he was a little baby. I really think I was excited. I remember going in to see Black Widow the first time. I was very interested in his character because, he's supposed to be, he's super strong and he's an old Captain America-esque character, he's silly and whatever. And he has a different style. I thought that was interesting, but they just make him, a blabbering goof who's kind of, dim-witted. In this, it's not as bad. In Black Widow, he was insufferable to me, seeing how he couldn't put up a fight against Taskmaster at all. But in this, he's a lot more competent in here. And something I think that they do very well in this towards the end is I love seeing them do hero things. They were saving people and they were, putting their lives on the line to rescue others. I always think those are easy wins for me. If you show our heroes doing great, noble things, selflessly, that's always a win for me. So I really enjoyed that. That made me like him a lot. I think they highlighted his selflessness pretty powerfully there. Other than that, annoying, like we talked about already. Ghost is just lackluster, uninteresting. She would look so much better without a helmet. She looks good right here in the top right. And I don't have a problem with this actress at all. Her outfit was so stupid. My gosh. She had like this globe on her face and it did not look cool. It's one of the biggest downgrades I think I've ever seen in this superhero costume. Same for Taskmaster. I mean, Taskmaster, she looked cool in the, in Black Widow, which was obviously a dude in the stunt double outfit. Because, you have this girl who's the real girl in this suit, and she looks like she's half the size as the one in Black Widow, which is really funny to me. But, yeah, she was just lackluster, uninteresting, kind of annoying. Bob, I really did enjoy Bob. I think Bob he was interesting, and you know what? He brings a more sensitive side for a new male character, which I didn't have a problem with that. I thought it was fine. I don't think Marvel, I feel like in general, Hollywood has been bolstering all this like sensitivity training for people to swallow. And I think it's making me sick seeing it all the time. But, Marvel, I haven't really gotten the sense that they've done that with Marvel. So I wasn't particularly bothered in this. And I think there was a sample portion of it that worked here. And I think his story worked the best with the trauma and, trying to fight his inner demons. So that side of it almost not, I wouldn't say moved me, but almost possibly put me in that arena. So I don't know. I'll stop blabbering about it. But let's get to a few of the chats real quick before we move on. Thanks to everybody for joining us today. We're very excited to talk about this. Chase Hedges 67. Movie looks okay. Yeah, okay's a good way to put it.
Appropriate.
It's appropriate. Proctophile's here. What's up, man? How's it going, folks?
Hey,
how's it going, guys? Doing
good?
Decent.
Going good.
He's saying rip-offs. Yeah, they are rip-offs. They are literally rip-offs. Hi, guys. Oh, look, it's the Red Guardian hater. Yep, that's me. That's me. If you guys have seen the, you were scouting out those popcorn buckets. They made some really cool Red Guardian popcorn buckets. Did you see any, Luke?
No, they're all gone. Snow White and Captain America: Brave New World.
You know what? This is a telltale sign. If the Captain America popcorn buckets are still there by the time Thunderbolts is over, they need to just throw them away because that's the last bit of their audience.
Oh man,
the last bit of the subs. Oh, Cass liked it. See, Cass, you and me have more in common about this movie than you and Luke do, which is a real surprise. Proctophile. I don't know why everyone says post Endgame when Marvel dropped off after Infinity War. Aside from No Way Home, everything's been forgettable. Yeah, I did like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think that's kind of a sleeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was decent.
Had great closure.
Yeah.
I remember I saw it in IMAX and it was so loud, like, oh my gosh, it was like monumental. It was like,
yeah.
It was too much, but
this
is the other thing. This is an important note about this movie. We saw this in IMAX. There is no planet you have to live on to watch this in IMAX. The IMAX sucked. This might have been the worst IMAX I've ever seen. This is not a visual spectacle at all. It's dark and it's just people talking. It's really, we're going to talk about it later. This isn't a superhero movie. It's really not a superhero movie. And it's not like Suicide Squad either, which, was definitely more of a ragtag kind of superhero idea, but no, nothing really superhero-like with this. Cass says, I feel like Bucky wasn't as big. Yes, gosh, it makes me angry. It really does.
It's disrespectful to the character.
So Cass says, I think she's talking about Florence Pugh. I thought she was great in the movie. Proves more she's my favorite character. All right, well, you could like that. I liked her better in this, though. Yes, Spricket. Sup, Spricket. I always think your profile picture is funny. Wish Zemo was in this though. So yeah, we're gonna talk about like our own fantasy Thunderbolts because before this came out, the idea of Thunderbolts was exciting. Red Hulk, Abomination, Baron Zemo, White Vision. Gosh, like so much cooler than this.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have these characters in there too, but
a lot of CGI.
Oh yeah, that's what it is, right? They don't want to. I'm kind of curious about what the budget was for this. T. Parker Evans, what's up, man? You look like you're new here. Thunderbolts is decent. I thought other shows and movies not only did it first, but better, like The Boys, Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker, especially in terms of style, which is why I wasn't wowed by it. Yeah, isn't that funny? DC did it better. DC did it way better.
That's rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys see the second Suicide Squad?
No. I know there's a talking shark. That's pretty much all I know about that.
King Shark. It's voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
Seriously?
I was really hoping he was in the mocap suit. I think that would be the funniest thing, but I heard he wasn't. So I would pay so much to see the behind the scenes of him in the mocap suit and the fat shark. Hey, new friends, that'd be so funny. What were you saying, Cammie? Were you going to say something about that?
Oh, no, I just agree with this statement. I feel like other stuff has done this better. So it wasn't impressive to watch because I'm like, I've seen this before, but better.
The second Suicide Squad's great. I loved the second one. James Gunn, really, I thought he did an awesome job. Zemo could have been interesting, but I don't know what he'd be able to do against Sentry. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing here. It's sort of like, an Ant-Man Quantum Mania. It's like, how could you possibly do anything to Kang? And then here you are, Sentry, who's even worse. It's like these guys can't do anything to him. So, we could get into that maybe a little later. Oh, yeah. So Juan, what's up, Juan? Okay, yeah. So Juan says, like almost the main character, I don't want him to be treated like Huey in The Boys. Did you watch The Boys, Luke?
No, I've been meaning to dig into that. It looks really good. I'm a big fan of what's his name?
Anthony Starr.
I'm a big fan of him. He has a new show coming out, but that's for another time.
Yeah. Proctfall, how rushed were they to make that poster? It looks like a bad Photoshop of a bunch of random promo pics. It does kind of look like some, like, I like how you could kind of tell, like with it kind of looks like my thumbnail a little bit with what I did with the shadow. You have Taskmaster here, and she's got this big bold shadow right in front of Florence Pugh. Yeah, it looks a little, I don't know. I kind of like it though.
Poor Bob's like stuck in the corner over there.
I know.
What's going on?
Poor Bob. Ghost could have been an interesting weapon against Sentry. Imagine her phasing into him without really knowing if she could damage his organs when she went solid again. Yeah, he pretty much saw everything she did from like a mile away. They've really done Bucky dirty since Civil War. Damn shame they just dropped the payoff to his arc. Yeah. I feel like making him this politician was such a stupid choice.
Yeah. Hold on, really quick. I know we were talking about I know we're going to get back to it, the fantasy Thunderbolts, but are we not going to talk about what happened to White Vision? Where is he?
Well, you know what's really weird is they're making a show about him.
What?
Yes, it's confirmed. They're making like Vision Quest about him.
Isn't White Vision like he has the memory and conscious of his whole lifestyle? Like
wow. Like the fake Vision, like put the memory into the White Vision, I guess. So
and then he just flew away to wherever.
Yep. Really sad.
Yeah.
Sad. Yeah. Why don't we talk? Let's talk about the fantasy Thunderbolts real quick, because I have this awesome picture. I remember seeing this a while ago.
Wow.
It's like, how much cooler would this have been?
Okay, well,
Deadpool, no, get him out of there. That's stupid.
Oh, Yelena, no, not Deadpool, no.
Yelena, no offense, you're not going to do anything. I mean, you have little electricity blasts, but look who you're fighting with. Come on, and
this is a pretty super powered group here.
Well, the Flag Smasher, you're not doing anything either. You're just another super soldier. John Walker, I'm sorry, you're not doing anything either. Not with that shield. Yeah, so I give you the two, Abomination and Red Hulk. I give you and White Vision. That's it. Those three.
Oh my gosh, how cool would it have been if you had this group facing Sentry? They might have had a chance.
Oh, that would have been good. I would have loved to see Red Hulk a part of it. Why didn't that happen?
Yeah, right now. Wouldn't that be hot right now if they did that? Like right after Captain America?
Yeah, like tie it in, give us more Red Hulk, and then we would have understood why they didn't have him as much in the other one. Maybe this was his highlight. Right. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, and they got to redeem poor Abomination because he got neutered in She-Hulk, I guess.
Oh, that was awful. Don't bring that up. That was awful.
Yeah, that's the trauma we'd relive watching She-Hulk.
Yeah, he was a badass, Navy SEAL or Marine, and then he's a weak little. How do you even describe him in She-Hulk? He was so weird and so like
recessive, and
he was such a goofball, and
crosses his legs.
Oh gosh, I don't even remember him in She-Hulk. That's how much that left my brain.
He was a completely different guy.
Gosh, it hurts. Yeah, I mean, look, here's Ghost suit. Look at, I mean, that was a cool suit on the left, far left here, and then they gave her that hideous one in this. That's like, why not just give her that suit at least? That was cool.
That was her suit from Ant-Man, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I actually didn't have a problem with her and Ant-Man. I liked her. I thought she was a decent villain. I don't know. Didn't really care for her much in here. And Baron Zemo is really one of the biggest like missteps here. He was really cool in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, especially when he put that mask on. I'll give him that. I love the dancing Baron Zemo scene. That's my favorite. Yeah, I love that. I felt that so much. I was chanting when he did that. I won't lie. I enjoyed that. Yeah.
There's like a 10-hour video of him doing that on YouTube. Do that 10 hours straight. But Practifile, I will definitely get to Suicide Squad as soon as possible. I've been meaning to watch both of those.
You can really skip the first one. It's so funny. The second one has literally nothing to do with the first one. It's like a redo, pretty much. So why don't we talk about Sentry a little bit? Because we did talk. We mentioned this is like he was a crowd pleaser in here, and you know what? He's like the anti-hero. You're really not sure what to do with him and what to think of him most of the time. He's played as this really like mentally tormented, lost soul. And it's like it's kind of tiresome a little bit seeing him. So he has no confidence, very insecure. Well, it was also interesting to see this kind of side from a new character. I can't believe they had like. I'm surprised with what they did with him because he was it was a bit of a roller coaster with him, like you said, Cammy. You know, his direction was so strange. Like he makes these big leaps and bounds left and right, and you know, I guess the realization by the end of the movie is that he's sort of like he has like two personalities living within him, sort of. And I guess Sentry, like they kind of made it look like the Sentry side of him was like the evil side. Because then like we see him, I don't really understand because by the end of the movie when he's like dark and shadowy and he's like evil, it seemed like that was the one that was super powered because then when he was like normal Bob, he wasn't really like that. So maybe I just misread that. I don't know. What'd you guys think of him?
Invincible, like I said. You know, he's just. I feel like they kind of wasted him. Wasted him as a character. They could have done so much better. I feel like. But
wow. He had a lot of screen time in here. I'll give him. I mean, he was a pretty prominent character. I think he had the second most screen time. I think it was Yelena, and I think it was him.
But I feel like what I'm trying to say is I wanted him to like be a anti-hero in a full movie. Like I want to see his powers. I wanted to see like, you know, like Superman powers like he had.
I wanted to see him and Yelena like, you know, kiss or something. I was so excited. I was so excited for those two. I was so excited for him. Like, bro, go for it, man. Go for it.
I thought you were gonna say fight or something.
No.
What would kissing do?
I don't know. I felt like there was some like romantic tension there.
Not really.
See that? Oh, I saw it, man.
He wanted to.
Tiny.
A little bit. Oh,
I mean, he had luscious hair, but I mean,
yeah. So let's show him real quick. Cammy, I want to get your thoughts too, but you know, there's not like any high def pictures of him in the suit, but he looks so good. Here's a Marvel Legends figure of how he looks in the suit. He has one of the coolest costumes I've seen in Marvel in a long time. He looked damn good in that.
It was pretty sick.
Yeah,
he looks like this
cool.
this frumpy dude the whole movie, and then he gets in the suit, and it's like, whoa. Geez, I almost called you Cassie. Cammy, why don't you give us some of your thoughts about Sentry?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's like he had this power in him, and he kind of discovers it when he gets shot at, right? So I just didn't understand because he basically sacrificed himself for the group, you know, and then he goes from that to kind of already being Sentry and just going, well, I'll just kill you guys. Like, it just doesn't make sense. That was before he even turned dark, too. So that was the only thing about it I didn't like. I think someone said in the chat they would have liked who said they'd like a whole movie? Like, oh, I think it was Luke, actually. Like, a whole movie would be awesome on him just to have, like, the growth. And then he's worth that whole movie, you know? And this is so abbreviated. It was frustrating.
It was nice to see like a new character, like an interesting new character. I mean, there's no doubt he was interesting in this. Right. He was so down, like he was all over the place. His emotions were so unstable. And I guess that's sort of like, you know, this is an unstable character. And even by the end of the movie, he's still unstable and he doesn't like want to, I don't know, turn into what he is because you know, when you watch the trailer and you see him, you know, he's dark. And I thought he was dark in the trailer. Like he's literally like black. His whole body's like black, like a silhouette. I thought it was like they were just doing that to show him in a silhouette, like the sun behind his back or something like that. Or like, you know, whatever, darkness, some sort of aerial effect. But no, he literally turned completely black at this. And I thought he had a menacing look when he turned into this villain version of Sentry. I thought it was sweet.
It was sweet, but I like to point out one more thing. I mentioned it briefly already, but Spot from Spider-Man, the so real. They both start off as a like an anti-hero with strange abilities, and they're all like kind of making fun of him, making him a joke. They're all laughing at him, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get you," whatever. And then all of a sudden, he turns into this horrific monster with horrific powers that can like end everything. And everyone's like, oh no, we were gonna be with we were trying to help you, and he's like, yeah, too late. So I feel like these two, like, I know they're not the same character, but I feel like I feel like they are very, very similar in that way.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. Any final thoughts, Cammy?
You mean on Sentry?
On Sentry, yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like it was too rushed. I think he was the best part of the movie for me. Like, I think he's the most interesting, and I felt most connected to him. He wasn't frustrating to watch, and I did like Yelena and him, their relationship, but it just was very rushed and not as satisfying towards the final act for me.
That's fair. Why don't before we get to the end credit scene, you made a good point. So Cammy mentioned earlier before we started the stream that it was weird. Like Google had this very odd cast list, and sometimes Google is just completely off. So I'm kind of curious to know the logic here. But I mean, look at this weird cast list they have for Thunderbolts. You have
Harrison Ford,
yeah, Red, and then you have look, then there's Baron Zemo, and then Bill Foster down there. I guess Bill Foster, he was. I guess that character is also sort of like a giant man.
That's Ghost's dad or father figure.
Well, I'm pretty sure that in the comics he's playing like, I think Bill Foster was also like an Ant-Man-esque character where he could like get big, but they didn't do that in the movie.
Yeah.
Let's see who else is here. That Ayo Edebiri. I don't remember seeing her. I know she's from what is it, Chef? I think that's what it's called. But you know, that's a famous show. Who else is added here?
Rachel Weisz is surprising. What is Rachel Weisz doing on there?
Yeah, I guess that's Black Widow's mom, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot about that.
Never trust the cast. I mean, when Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness first came out, you look up at the cast and had Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. When they first they try to get you to see the movie from this.
Yeah, this is like seeing this makes me a little more excited to watch the movie, just a little bit. Yeah, but you know,
Fishburne.
I think Baron Zemo. I think having him could have really changed the game if he was well written.
Yeah.
But you know, this is like, so yeah, the main problem, or the entire theme of the whole movie was pretty much, like I said, like a trauma dump, and it was really dreary and sad, and we were pretty much just exploring the trauma and the depression of the entire cast. I remember listening to other YouTubers talk about it all week, some people that got to see it early, and they all talked about how it was incredibly bleak and sad and just like mental health awareness. And you know what? They weren't completely wrong here. There was some parts of it I like to see. I thought it was kind of nice to see, a sensible villain to some degree. And I didn't mind seeing the negative parts of their life, but they pushed it way too hard in this. My gosh, it was probably like the theme. I mean, it probably ate up 70, well, maybe not 70, probably 60% of the screen time was them just wallowing, talking about their disappointed past, recollecting on their biggest mistakes they've ever made, crying about it, talking about it. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about that theme? Because it was not Marvel. That was not superhero. That's not what we paid for.
You first, Cammy.
So yeah, I think the theme, I would have rather seen inspiring characters, but it is relatable, the theme of depression and sadness. Like, we've all been through it. We, have those seasons, but I don't think the redeeming quality or the message hit home. Like, it could have been really inspiring about coming out of that, but it was just kind of like, let's give him a hug. Like, that was just basically the extent of the depths of fixing depression.
Yeah, that is true.
So I don't know. I would have liked it more if they had more of a powerful impact with the message of it, but I didn't really feel anything much from it. But it was nice being relatable. It's relatable.
Yeah, it was nice to see that at the end they all overcame it, so we won't have to listen to it anymore. So that's a plus. It's finally all settled. We won't talk about it ever again, I hope. So yeah, at least this film accomplished that. Why don't you tell us now, Luke, your thoughts?
I feel like it was kind of like a closure to all their traumas, them telling what happened. I really, really wanted a John Walker closure and to see because his demotion and what he did to that guy really destroyed his ego. He was being
The guy he killed was a terrorist.
Yeah,
he was a terrorist.
Right. He wasn't
treated like he was. Yeah, they were treating. He killed his best friend, who was, a U.S. soldier.
He was holding John Walker back while the other person killed. But
he killed. He's a terrorist. He's evil. I'm so sick of that stupid show. It made it look like these kids were just doing little do-gooders, or blowing places up, killing people, causing havoc. They were evil, and they were villains.
They were evil, but
in the movie, it's got me heated because in the movie they mentioned that as one of his low points, and it was bad he did that. But I mean, it was justice to some extent for what he did.
Right. I mean, that guy could have killed many others. I mean, if granted, he should have turned him in, but it was the heat of the moment, like they said in the show. But anyway, it showed that all that happened to him, he became a horrible, or not a horrible, but kind of a bad husband. I think it's kind of harsh that his wife took away his child and left him, but other events could have happened that was not on screen, in his personal life. But I feel like of the trauma and everything, we didn't really get that yet per se. But you're right, they did overcome it in the end, which I did appreciate because I don't want any more of that. Bucky, we've had a sob story since Civil War. So we didn't really need any more of that. He kind of said that in the movie. He was like, I've never had a sad story. Red Guardian doesn't really have a sad story. He's like Pops from a regular show.
Where'd you get that from?
It just reminds me of
Pops.
I
don't see that at all.
He's so jolly and just so not a care in the world.
Nice. Wow, that's an interesting comparison. I didn't see that coming today.
Just so jolly. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Why don't we get to Cass mentioned it here. Where is it? She was excited to hear about the end credit. I can't find it, but let's talk about the end credit scene because it's touted as the longest end credit scene that a Marvel film's ever produced. I think we all have different reactions. I want to start with mine because I didn't like it at all. It made me sick. After I saw that, it ruined a lot of the movie for me. I'm not kidding. I was pretty pleased with.
Wait, say that again.
It made me sick. It ruined a lot of the movie for me at the very end because I felt not too bad when the movie was over, and then when that stupid end credit scene came up, I was just it disappointed me. That's
my favorite part.
No, it sucked. It was awful.
Oh, Jackson,
so what happens? You see them. So something funny.
Just when I think you're about to do better, you just go right back down.
About to do better. Hey, I still like the movie a lot more than you did. But
I'll give you that.
The movie, the end credit scene really doesn't matter. It's setting up the new, it sets up Fantastic Four a little bit. I don't know. They talk about, so we get to see them. They are now occupying Avengers Tower, and they are also titled as the New Avengers. Oh, gosh. It's so disgusting. It made me cringe, visibly gasp. Like, gosh, how is this possible? And it was so disturbing to me when I heard that. And then you see this isn't just a funny little gimmick. 14 months have passed. They're still considered that. It looks like they're living in Avengers Tower, and they have these funny new suits. John Walker has a really weird one. Bucky has a new suit, which is kind of odd. I think Yelena's looked great. I don't even remember Ghosts. Red Guardian, we don't really see his. He wears some weird bathrobe and or some tracksuit or something. And they see, there's a unidentified flying object in the sky. Oh, who is it? Oh, it's the Fantastic Four. I'm so excited. That's great.
You are such a hater.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is the best day ever. No. It sucked. It was lame. It killed the movie for me. It killed the movie. And then they just name dropping Sam Wilson. Oh my gosh. And they were talking about how Sam Wilson, like, oh, are we the, she's, Yelena, she's like, oh, are we the real Avengers or not? Because should we trademark that? Because he says he's going to be giving us a new Avengers. So are we still the Avengers? And it's like, oh, stop. You had me sold. You had me sold to some degree. Don't take that from me. It's not easy to come by.
I have to say, once they said the new Avengers, I knew I did look over at you at one point just to see your reaction. I wanted to see your cringe face live. Come on, dude. You gotta rewatch that.
Why was that your favorite scene? Why don't you tell us that?
Because they're from the 1960s, and to see that they're coming to Earth after defeat, they're hinting that they obviously, defeated Galactus, and they're hinting that they're going to probably bring Anchor beings to Earth to stop the events of Secret Wars. Come on, dude. You gotta look. You gotta have faith for the next couple of years.
Oh my gosh, faith for the next couple of years.
Secret Wars and Doomsday.
Wait, Luke, can you tell me how can you have more faith now after saying you saw this and it was disappointing though?
Because I already knew that this is gonna be disappointment. I know that Fantastic Four that could be disappointment, but the event, these movies, you have to watch these movies to prepare yourself for the better movies, like the events, like showing the Fantastic Four. You have to get through Thunderbolts to get to the Fantastic Four, and then you have to go to Fantastic Four to get to the movie we've all been waiting for.
Oh so boy! All right, Cameron, why don't you talk? Give us some thoughts. Let us cool down.
I mean, I'm actually shocked that you're like so turned off by it.
Oh,
for me, that was like a more of a redeeming moment. Not the new Avengers thing. I don't actually like that. But I did like seeing the Fantastic Four come in. It gave me like excitement for that. Maybe I just wanted to get out of this movie and into the other movie. It's just like, yes, let's get to the future of what's happening. I don't mind them being in the tower and stuff, but I thought it was encouraging. And just to touch on one thing with them being like the new Avengers, that was the scene that I hated the most in the movie, was that Valentina leads them over and then they're like, the new Avengers. And Yolanda, what does she say? Like, we own you now? I'm like, what is this blackmail?
That was weird,
this is like beneath you guys, even as a character level, to like not take her down. I don't know. It frustrated me. But how did you guys feel about that? Like,
that was real quick. I want to mention Proctophile here. He says, make sure to balance out your media intake with some good movies, man. None of this stuff is worth bogging yourself down. Exactly. Proctophile's he's a regular. We appreciate you, Proctophile. And that's a good reminder to join us on Tuesday night movie talk at 10 p.m. We talk about great cult classic films. So join us Tuesday nights. Luke and I, we talk about great movies all the time. So that's a little break. But yeah, for me, talking about this, that has to be the worst scene of all time. I actually liked the way it was led into, though. I thought it was real subtle. I thought it was a good position.
I had no clue. I feel like it's hard to say. I'm kind of confused by that scene. Like, did she do all that just to glorify them, or did she do that to cover herself up?
Just to get out of the problem. You know?
I thought she did. I thought that was her mastermind plan to like try to get the world to see them, protect, stop all of that from happening. It could, who knows?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
I don't know how she assembled that little press conference though after everyone came out of the darkness. That's kind of quick.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think they'd be there for that because it was like a horrifying event that many people were, dead, that, presumably dead, but they didn't die. That's a good point. Yeah, you think that would scare away the media, like, okay, wait, maybe we don't want to do this. Yeah. Oh gosh, so disappointing. So, like, if we're talking about, I want to see if I could pull up a picture. Just give me 1 second. Let's talk about Phase 5, and I want to figure out where this ranks upon Phase 5 Marvel, because easily this can be considered the phase that pretty much killed Marvel for a lot of people, including me. But let me try to get this on here. Once they talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, favorite Phase 5 movie, go.
Brave New World.
Oh God!
I'm
Take
kidding.
that back.
I'm kidding.
Take it back. Gosh. Oh my gosh.
It's hard to say. Let me look up the Phase 5 movies.
Here we go. Here, okay, here we go. All right, here we go, guys. I got it. Let me just present it here. Phase 5 has been really bad. It doesn't take, I mean, I imagine a casual consumer would agree with us. There you go. There's Phase 5. I feel like it's missing some stuff too.
Deadpool and Wolverine, number 1, obviously. No.
Oh, they include the shows too?
Loki season 2, meaningless now.
There's not much in here.
Deadpool and Wolverine, easy number 1. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, easy number 2. Quantumania, number 3. Sadly. I'd say
what? No way in hell that's number 3. That's on the bottom, bro. I
hated the Marvels. I hated Secret Invasion. I can't say Captain America because you're going to go on a 10-minute rant. Daredevil, haven't seen it. Echo, haven't seen it. Agatha All Along, disappointment. Probably should never be broadcasted. And Loki season 2.
You watched that all the way through?
What?
Agatha.
No, I've never. Loki season 2, Kang is canceled.
Nice addition.
Oh my goodness. This is Slim Pickens right here.
It is. I think for me, I'm going to put I guess Guardians. I like Guardians the most. That's number 1. Deadpool 2. Thunderbolts 3. Number 4. Jeez, this is Slim Pickens. Number 4. I guess Daredevil. Number 5. I didn't even watch Loki season 2, but I know it's better than this other crap. So I'll put that at number 5.
That's pretty good.
Number 6, I'm going to put the Marvels. Number 7, I'm going to put Agatha All Along. Number 8, Echo. Number 9, Ant-Man. Oh, wait, no. Number 9, Secret Invasion. 10, Ant-Man. Because that was just like, it's inexcusable what they did in that. Inexcusable.
Which one?
Ant-Man. That's my bottom.
Oh, is Ant-Man on here? Oh,
yeah.
Quantumania, that's right, yeah.
What about you, Cammy?
So I've only seen like 5 of these. I just passed out on all the other ones. Guardians of the Galaxy would be number 1. Deadpool was funny though. I think Deadpool and Captain America are tied.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
That's right, Jackson. That's right.
Oh,
there we go. You say it. Good.
Stop.
That's right.
Stop.
Then Daredevil, and then I really didn't like Thunderbolts. I would give it the low rank.
Wow. Man, there's no way on Earth it's better. It's worse than Captain America. It's not a planet. It's not on this planet.
Now. Captain America number 3 now. I feel more comfortable saying.
Gosh.
Cammy, you get a point.
Thank you.
No. What does this world become?
I enjoyed it. It's not a bad movie, Jack.
I saw it 4 times in theaters.
Oh gosh! Stop! Oh, I might have to. Man, this is bad. This is really bad.
Okay.
Don't announce that kind of thing, Luke.
To be fair, you invited me to see it a second time in theaters.
Well, I did that because I was going to be at open bar, and I thought he would talk about Captain America, and he didn't. Trust me, I did not see that for pleasure. Not for pleasure. But it was definitely interesting watching it with you, for sure. Oh, gosh. Wow, what a disappointing segment of this stream, hearing that.
Proctophiles uses tops. That's good.
Yes, see, Proctophile, him and me, we're on the same page here. We get each other.
At least Garfield.
Okay, so I think we've covered everything here. I don't think there's much else to say about this topic, about Thunderbolts. Really, with the future of Marvel, it seems like you guys are pretty optimistic about what's coming next. I'm not. I am. You know what? This movie, it did make me curious, though. I am curious, to say the least. I am curious about what happens next, and I don't know. I'm even more curious about Avengers because of this, which sounds funny. I really could care less before watching this, but now I'm more interested. Which is surprising. So I don't know. Final thoughts before we end the stream tonight, guys.
go out and see it if you want. You know, I want to hear. We want to hear about your guys' opinions on it because I feel like I'd like to watch it again to analyze it. I went in with the bar way up here. You know, I shouldn't have done that. It should have been like right in the middle because I was so let down. I was expecting so much more. But yeah, that's just me.
All right, Cammy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I went in with the bar midway, and I am pretty, like, I did enjoy the first half of this movie, and I do recommend that everyone go see it because it is getting a lot of good reception right now. A lot of people are having fun with it, so despite me not loving it, I still think a lot of Marvel fans are going to enjoy this, and it's definitely way better than what we've been getting.
It's definitely way better than Captain America. You're right about that. Way better. Captain America is on the bottom, and this is way higher on the top. That's. I'm glad I heard you say that, Kim.
I'm promoting it. Go see it.
No, stop! Oh gosh, stop, Luke, stop. That's the worst thing you could have done right there. Show people that stupid popcorn.
Hey, that one's cool. That one's cool.
No, it's not. It's good for shooting practice. Gosh. Okay. So my final thoughts. You know what? This is something I didn't really mention. I kind of liked how this was different. You know, this was not a typical superhero movie, but it really wasn't a superhero movie at all. It's not. It was, you know, action. The action was so minuscule. It's probably maybe 10% of the whole film. You get some interesting action scenes. It's not a spectacle, really. It's mostly just a sad story, people just mourning and you know what, overcoming their sadness, which is nice, seeing them overcome their demons. I liked that. And I liked that, you know, the message was sort of, you know, instead of acting like a little weak victim and just eating your past, how about you overcome it and start having purpose and doing important things in life, which is what a lot of people need to hear. So I like that message. I think that's good. And yeah, I guess I do recommend it. And it's way better than Captain America. Don't ever see that. Don't listen to these guys. So before we finish, make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channels, though. Show us your support. Check out Cammy's channel on the bottom here. She does some great movie reviews, and she watches all the Disney crap. she does live reactions.
What are you talking about, crap?
You know, well, I mean, hey, but people want to see her opinions, right?
Disney's
so check
great.
that out.
Stop.
You are so close to getting booted. You are so close. Oh, Luke, that's bad. But yeah, check out Cammy's content. She's got some great stuff. I know we want to talk. Let's get a few of these chats in real quick before we go. Thank you all for chatting with us. We always like hearing what you guys have to say. So let me just circle on back to way. Here we go. Proctafile, Brawler's well on his way to losing his optimistic personality. I see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Proctafile.
He's on the road.
You know, it helps watching good stuff every Tuesday. Yes, I'm starting to feel like Jackson is growing resentment towards Marvel.
Yeah, more like 2 years ago.
Here we go. He says, of all time, man, I could think of some terrible movies that'll put this stuff to shame. Oh, yeah, I bet. Gosh, I could think of many other worse Marvel movies than this, at least. Let's see. Cass says Bob needs to be on some antidepressants. That's for sure. Poor Bob. Maybe that would do it. If Marvel's Endgame was like 3.5 out of 10 bad, then Endgame starring Kurt Angle is like -69 out of 10. Yikes.
Nice Proctophile.
Oh gosh, from that list, it's number 1. Okay, so this is Proctophile's list. Number 1, Deadpool and Wolverine. Number 2, Daredevil. 3, Guardians. 3, and an 8-way tie for last. Yeah, I like that. That's a good answer. I do. I like that. And then he says, I think I'm gonna pass on Thunderbolts and save my money for the Surfer. Thanks for biting the bullet for me, guys. Haha. Yeah, no problem, Proctophile. I'm excited about the Surfer too. It's like a new horror movie with Nicolas Cage. It looks weird.
Is it a horror? I have no idea.
Is it horror? I think it's a horror. It looks like horror thriller. Wow. Check that out. Check out the trailer. It might be interesting.
Oh,
so
I thought we were talking about the new amazing Silver Surfer.
Oh no.
I know how to rile you up, Jackson. So fun, dude. Keep going. Let's hear your opinion on that.
No, we're not going to talk about that tonight. We'll talk about that when we watch the movie. Stay tuned. But thank you guys so much for joining us today. We had a really good time talking about this. And, like I said, before you leave, though, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends, family, anybody that's interested in maybe checking out Thunderbolts and see, maybe we'll encourage them to watch it or maybe we'll dissuade them. That's up to them. But we always appreciate you guys and all your time.